IHSA Football family. It is Peter Lionberg, a.k.a. Coach Big Pete, publisher of Deep Dish Football. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. It is time now for Games of the Week, Week 8. Can you believe it? I'm just happy we got past Week 6. I'm really excited, and IHSA playoff pairings. If you haven't seen it earlier in this video, I showed my schedule. We're going to have a good playoff pairings schedule on Saturday of next week. We're going to have some co-hosts, some special guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be on Instagram Live, going to be on Facebook Live, going to be on YouTube stream. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a really fun time. Make sure you check it out. Also, as I do every year for the playoffs, I change my schedule a little bit. So most likely, Breakfast of Coach Big Pete, when the playoffs begin, will be on Sunday morning. Deep Dish Football Live will probably be on a Thursday with my DuPage Run Show co-host as well. So everything will be changed up in the IHSA playoffs. Also, and I got a lot of emails about this, people asking about senior showcases, last chance senior showcases for class of 2022. And I always say this, make sure you know the list of college coaches that are going to be there. Some are just an absolute waste of money. You ask the person what college coaches are going to be there. Make sure that you check it out. That's a big thing. I'm just warning you right now. Check it out. Make sure that there are college coaches there. I'm telling you that right now. Make sure everything is legit for those senior showcases. I've seen senior showcases that have charged $200, $300, $400, which is an absolute waste of money. You want to spend at least under $100, $125 for a senior showcase. You don't want to go over that. That's an absolute waste of money. And talk to the event creator and ask, who's going to be here? Who's going to be here? Because there's a lot of lies going around. Make sure you check it out. Also, a quick reminder too, new recruiting questionnaire is going to be out in a couple of weeks, and it will include the class of 2025. Make sure I have your information when that questionnaire is released. And a quick reminder, Deep Dish Football Live will be Wednesday tonight at 8 p.m. DuPage Run Shoot, always Thursday with my co-host Patrick, the Brain Cotto. So now it is Week 8 Games of the Week. Hopefully everything is good for you guys. We are almost to the IHSA playoffs. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It is absolutely crazy. And last week was one of the very first weeks where we didn't have a lot of upsets and everything went back to normal. Can we do a second week of normal? A second week of normal? Or is it just going to be, again, a pure train ride of craziness that is IHSA football parody? So, let's begin Week 8, Games of the Week. Oh, and if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal. You'll see the address on this screen. You also see the address on the YouTube thing or the Facebook bio or the description of the video. Feel free, if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal. It goes towards travel expenses and just the maintaining of the website. Thank you guys. And if you are interested in advertising here, please let me know at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. If you have a business or brand that wants to advertise here, please let me know. All right. So let's get into the games of the week. Lincoln at Taylorville. I'm looking at Lincoln. This is a big prove-me game for Lincoln as they face a very tough Taylorville team. Mama Hoot Seymour's on fire, by the way. Just want to let everyone know that. Brian at Dixon in another big game in the Big Northern for Week 8. Brian is absolutely rocking. Dixon, I think they're on my honorable mention for. And by the way, the polls are on after this video. Make sure you check it out. Stillman Valley, very interesting team as we get into the IHSA playoffs. No doubt about that. We get to the Big 12 Conference. And in the Big 12 Conference, we have, I got to give a shout to Peoria Notre Dame. I forgot to talk about them. Definitely check out Peoria Notre Dame. They're a little bit on a winning streak right now. Check out Peoria Notre Dame. Don't sleep on Peoria Notre Dame. And Normal Community, they're just the big dogs right now, no doubt about that. Carmel White County at Johnson City at Carmel White County. That's one of the biggest games in the Black Diamond Conference. Definitely a game you got to check out for. Flora Cesar Valier, another huge game in the Black Diamond as well. Two big games. Not a good game. That game got canceled, and we still have some games that are canceled due to COVID protocol. Breeze Central at Columbia is an interesting game. Keep an eye out for Breeze Central. They're one of my on my polls as well. Decatur MacArthur at Springfield could be an interesting game this Saturday, coming up Saturday. Yeah, so that's pretty much an Essential State 8. Not that much going on there either. Let's go down even more. Deerfield's looking good. I think Deerfield's going to win out. That's my personal feeling. Evanston at Maine South, the big rivalry game. That's a game to check out. That's going to be a huge game, by the way, in the Central Suburban South. I think New Trier's going to win that game. I don't think that's going to be much of a thing. Whitney Young plays Taft High School. That's another big game in the Chicagoland area. No doubt about that. Let's go down some more. There's not that much going on in DuPage County. I can tell you that right now. Nothing really very special. Kenwood at Simeon could be an interesting game. Kenwood they're undefeated. Big shout out to Coach Sneak Turner and the Kenwood Broncos. Glenbar North versus St. Charles North. Big game in the Duquesne Conference. Glenbar North. Their last two games, they've only lost by 1 point. And the same score difference, like 21-20, 21-20. Keep an eye out for those Glenbar North Panthers as they take on a tough St. Charles team that found their groove a little bit when they beat St. Charles East last week. Geneva, North. Geneva's got to do something. It's not looking so good now for Geneva. Nope, nothing really much in the DuPage Valley Conference. Wow. Hampshire Jacobs, Fox Valley Conference. I gotta say this right now. Big shout out to Fox Valley Conference. They provide at least one entertaining game every week. And I think that game is going to be Hampshire Jacobs. Definitely a game you got to check out for week 8. All right. We go into the heart of the Illinois Conference. Tri-Valley at Eureka. Keep an eye out for Eureka. This could be a big game. Eureka's playing good football. Yeah. They won in overtime, if I'm not mistaken, last week. Dare Creek versus Fieldcrest. That's another interesting game, too. Heart of Illinois, large conference. Monticello at Prairie Central. Big game in the Illini Prairie Conference. Monticello got upset last week when they lost to Paxton Buckley Loda. This is definitely a game to check out. And Paxton Buckley Loda is taking on Tolino Unity. Another good game as well. Coal City at Reed Custer, Illinois Central 8. Huge game. Big game, big time game for Reed Custer. Big test for Reed Custer as well. Streeter at Wilmington. Streeter's got to do something. This is their very last chance. Rochelle at Plano. That's going to be an excellent game. Rochelle, they're winning now. Plano, they had a tough loss. They only lost by 1 point to Marengo last week. That should be a big game too as Rochelle takes on Plano. And, Morris said LaSalle Peru could be an interesting game too. I'm trying to look. Yeah. Villa Grove at Arcola is a very interesting game too. I'm still looking out for that Arcola team. I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on that Arcola team. Abdigan Avon at Knoxville. That's a huge game in the Little Illini Lincoln Trail Conference. Abdigan Avon is one of the very small schools that has no losses, and they're taking on a tough Knoxville team. Keep an eye out for that game. IC versus Bishop Mack. Always a big game in the Metro Suburban Conference. Bishop Mack got their big upset win over St. Francis. Definitely a game you got to keep an eye out for. Prospect at Hersey, Miss Suburban East. That's the big dog game up north. Definitely a game you got to check out for. Yeah. Go down. Mississippi Valley Conference. Highland at Mascata. That's another interesting game. Lake Zurich. No. Where is it? Where am I finding him? Yeah. No, that's not a good game. Sorry about that. Nope, that's not a good game either. All right. Grays Lake North at Wakanda. Wakanda is undefeated. Another interesting team. Really not that much going on in NUIC this week. Not that much going on in NIUC. It's a little bit surprised. They usually have one good game. Farmington's just absolutely rocking in the Prairie Land. Big shout out to Farmington football. They're an interesting team when we get into the playoffs. Athens at Merrill Forsyth. Huge game to Saginaw Conference, definitely. Athens is playing lights out, and their offense is lining up the scoreboard. Merrill Forsyth is always good. That's going to be a great game. Definitely a game to check out. That game got canceled. Marion at Carbondale. This is an interesting game in the South 7 Conference. I don't see any team beating Lamont. That's my personal feeling. I don't see it. I really don't see any team beating Lamont this year till they get to the playoffs. I think Richards is going to win that game. Yeah, not that much going on there. Benton at Murfreesboro is the big game in the Southern Illinois. It's a huge game. I think Murfreesboro's only got one loss. Benton's undefeated with Keegan Glover, who's an absolute star. Big game in the Southern Illinois River to River Ohio Division. Benton at Murfreesboro. Definitely a game you got to check out. And Benton's a top 3A team in Illinois. Don't slip on that one. Oswego versus Oswego's East is always a big rivalry game. Yorkville at Manuka, interesting game too. But Oswego East is going to be a big time rivalry game this weekend. It'll be interesting because they still have a lot of questions on both teams, both sides of the ball on both teams, and it's. I really thought that this was going to be Oswego East's East year, but it's not looking like it. So they might prove me wrong. East St. Louis at Edwardsville. Hopefully I got that correct. It's always a big game. Lockport versus Lincoln Way East. This is a big proving game for Lincoln Way East as they take on the Lockport Porters. Definitely, no doubt about that. St. Bede versus Hull. Interesting game in the Free Rivers, Mississippi division. Free Rivers Rock Areas Prophetstown versus Monmouth is always going to be one of the bigger games in the state of Illinois. No doubt about that. Small school games. Just going down. And we go to the Upstate 8 Conference, and I believe they have one good game in the Upstate 8. And we got the Upstate 8 Conference. Hopefully the video didn't click out from that. I apologize if it did. Glenbard South versus Glenbard East is the big rivalry game. Definitely a game to be interested in. South Elgin at Bartlett, another big game in Upstate 8 Conference. That's two huge games in Upstate 8 Conference. Bartlett's got to bounce back, and they got a tough South Elgin team that's 8A. Glenbard East taking on a tough Glenbard South team. That's going to be a great, interesting game as well. That game got canceled as well. Bismarck Henning versus Westville, big game in Vermilion Valley South. Keep an eye out for Salt Fork. I keep talking about Salt Fork. Definitely keep an eye out for Salt Fork. Glenbard West at Lions Township could be an interesting game as well. That's an interesting game. Yeah, West Suburban Silver, definitely an interesting game there. Rock Island, Moline versus Sterling is the big game in the Western Big Six. Uh, I think both teams have one loss, and this is probably for the conference title as Moline takes on Sterling in a big rivalry Western Big Six game. Definitely a game you want to keep an eye out for. All right, and we go into the non-conference games of Week 8. Loyola and St. Patrick ain't that special. I think Loyola's going to win that game. Yeah, not that much going on in the non-conference. Lincoln White Central, Bolingbrook is always an interesting game. Can Bolingbrook bounce back after that tough loss by a field goal to Lockport? Gibson City at Forreston Saturday. That's another good game. Joliet Catholic at Bennett Academy. That's another big game. Montini at Nazareth. That's a huge game. If they want to get into the playoffs, one team's got to win that game, and one team needs to win that game bad. Why is everyone scared of Montini football in 3A? They got a losing record. We got to give them some votes. Montini is not this. This is not the same Montini, people. Come on. Monmouth versus Rushville. That's a very interesting game too. Pana and Okemos, big game there too. Two very good teams taking on each other. Pana's got a hell of a quarterback, by the way. He's blowing up the scoreboards. York at Willowbrook. That's the game. It's not conference. I don't know why. York versus Willowbrook. Willowbrook is coming back strong, and they're facing a tough York team that got their first loss from Hinsdale Central. That is a huge game I will be paying close attention to. No doubt about that. I think Ottawa Marquette's going to win that one. Rock Ridge at Quinoa. It's another interesting game. I think Quinoa's going to win that game against Rock Ridge. I don't have any doubt about that. And that is about it for Week 8. Brown County versus Greenfield. That's always a huge game, and I don't want to get yelled at by the WIVC. So Brown County versus Greenfield is another interesting game too. As we get to Week 8, can you believe it? Week 8. This is Week 8, people. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal link in the video or below. Check out my schedule. I have it out for the playoff pairings on last week on Saturday night. I'm going to have some co-hosts, some guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. This is the 5th annual Deep Dish Football Playoff Pairing Show. I'm really excited about it. In 5 years, wow. It should be a lot of fun. And let's have some fun for Week 8. And I know some people are very angry right now that I don't wear a hat. So I don't hide my balding spot. So I can show that I'm very young and youthful. That's a joke, by the way. If some of you people understand it, you got some people literally wearing hats so they can be youthful. And hey, what's up, young folks? So I find it really funny. Make sure you follow Coach Big P and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Deep Dish Football live tonight at 8 p.m. Thursday, DuPage Run and Shoot show with me and my co-host, Patrick the Brain Cotto, every Thursday. Make sure you follow DuPage Run and Shoot on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you guys so much. And if you like my work, Again, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal. And still looking for advertisers and sponsors. If you're interested, email me, coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much, and have a lovely, lovely day. Almost 2 more weeks, people, till IHSA playoffs.